this video, we're finding the vertical and horizontal intercepts of an exponential function. And the twist here is that I don't really care about the decimal approximation at the end. I'm going to write my answers in exact form. So in a lot of ways, this should be easier because we don't need a calculator at all to get the answers in this form. So the two parts of this are vertical intercept and horizontal intercept. So remember, the vertical intercept is what you're going to get when your input is 0. And your horizontal intercept is what you're going to get when your outputs are 0. So in terms of functions, that's what the intercepts are going to correspond to. So if the input is 0, that means the input is x going into the function, and so that's 7e to the 0 minus 5, and e to the 0 is 1, so that's just 7 minus 5, which is 2. So that's not not a big twist here. The vertical intercept would be input 0, output 2, so that's very straightforward. And it usually is. For vertical intercept, we're just putting 0 in for x, so that's usually just a computational issue. For the output to be 0, that means we're trying to find the input so that the output is equal to 0. The formula for the output is 7e to the x minus 5. So, so it'll look like this. My solution method for this is to get the exponential part, the e to the x part here, by itself on one side. And so I can do that by first adding 5 to both sides. That'll make my equation look like 7e to the x equals 5. Then I can divide both sides by 7, and I'll have e to the x equals 5 over 7. And so the key here is don't get decimal approximations. Just leave everything like it is. Don't even worry about what the exact value, the decimal approximation for this is. So now that this looks like our basic exponential form, exponential, some e to a power equals a number, we can translate this into the equivalent logarithmic expression. Remember that the base e logarithm is ln. So an exponential equation with base e is going to be equivalent to a logarithmic equation using base e, which is the ln, and the input and outputs here are going to swap. So the value of 5/7 was the output for the exponential equation. That's the input for the log equation, and the x was the input into the exponential equation, and so that's the output from the logarithmic equation. Now, in some problems, we then had more work to do because the thing in blue was more complicated than just the letter x, but in this case, that's all it is. So, so there's my answer, log of 5/7. So that means my intercept here, my intercept is the point. Remember we said the output was 0, so the second coordinate is 0, and the first coordinate is just the natural log of 5/7. So I can enter it just like that without having to get a calculator up.